What's up, y'all? Lincoln Infield here with the Carolinas Full Throttle Magazine, and today I am at Willie's Honky Tonk in Winston-Salem, North Carolina with the legendary Joe Smith, and we're going to talk a little bit about what Joe Smith likes to do, because that's what we want to talk about today. All right, Joe, how are you doing today, buddy?
Pretty good, thank you.
Good deal, good deal. All right, let's jump right in. Let's get started. How did you get started riding motorcycles? How did you get started being interested in motorcycles?
Well, I came down here and started working at RJR, and my buddy across the street from him, his dad had always had one, and he had one, and we went and bought one, old Harley KH. Started riding, then I bought a better one anyway. Started going over, met Nick White, and he run a little shop here in town, and go over there, and more people, met people, and we got started riding a little.
What year was that when you bought your first motorcycle?
I guess that was about 61, 2, I guess, 1 or 2.
Now, did you buy the motorcycle from a shop or an individual?
No, yeah, I had it. Somebody told me about it, and I went over and held $300, so I bought it.
That's not a bad deal. Now, a KH, that was the early Sportster, right?
Yeah, it was a flathead Sportster. Looked just like a little 74, but it had bags and windshield and anyway.
Whole 9 yards, huh? All right, that's cool. Now, that being your first motorcycle, I'm sure you've owned multiple motorcycles.
Well, yeah.
Is there any one that stands out to you, or even multiple motorcycles that you just loved and regret getting rid of?
Well, I regret selling that. I bought a new Trump in '64, and I sort of regret getting rid of it, but anyway, other than that,
yeah,
ain't nothing really special about it, but just my first good bike.
The Triumph was your first good bike?
Well, yeah, it was brand new, and
you can get that if you want to.
no, don't care who it is.
Outside, we were talking about a panhead. I love a panhead. Tell me a little bit about that bike.
Well, I got on panheads there, and hell, you could buy them back. In the '60s, you could buy old panheads sitting around behind people's houses for anywhere from $75 to $400, and put a battery and gas in them, and down usually they'd fire off.
Yeah.
And run.
Is that how you ended up with that panhead?
No, I built my old 3-wheel out of oak. I had 2 or 3 old panheads I'd accumulated. I'm a junk collector, sort of, and I built an old panhead 3-wheeler. That was one So anyway, Nick, he built Johnny Ruff a Trump 3-wheeler and flipped the rear end off of a service car. I thought, well, hell, I'll build me one of those. So I had a little welding shop going, and widened the frame out and put it in there and put my panhead and give me a little more oomph, a little more power. And so that first time out of town, that's what I cut my damn leg off.
Yeah, I'd heard something about that, you were in an incident and you lost your leg in that incident.
Yeah, well, I just built it sort of a novelty, and then it sort of become a necessity to me, but anyway.
Right, so you kind of took up riding sidecars and 3-wheelers from there?
Yeah, I stayed on sidecars and 3-wheelers after that.
I saw an interesting sidecar recently. Now, we looked at it at pictures that were up at your birthday party, but I saw it in Winston-Salem, and apparently you'd sold it to somebody else. It's an interesting fiberglass design. What do you know about that sidecar?
Well, I bought it over there on the Walltown. More or less just bought it to get a spool wheel to put on my 3-wheeler. Take this wheel off of the sidecar. Because everybody wants a spool front wheel, and a little old 125 or a Sportster gas tank, no fat bobs, no big front brakes. Everybody wanted spool wheel.
Yeah.
More or less bought it for that, and then sat around and then I hooked it to a bike, so it was no pop drive side car.
Was it now?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, 'cause it looked like it might be a racing item, you know.
Well, he was a racer, I read somewhere, but
Yeah.
I messed it up. I put it on a panhead Harley, and it had a big old high windshield and all, and I took and sawed all that off and lowered it down. Hell, if I'd left it alone, it's probably a real antique.
Well, you know, you had to make it functional for yourself at the time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of like the way it goes. I always hear that, and everybody goes, well, I wish I wouldn't have, you know, taken this off and thrown that away. It's worth something now, you know?
Yep. That was all the way it was. I wanted it a little more streamlined and cut that windshield off and put it on that panhead. Mm-hmm. But anyway.
So we've talked about a few bikes, but what would you say was your favorite bike over the years that you've had?
I don't know. I got the hook and sidecars on them VMAX Yamahas when they come out in 84, 5, and they had so damn much power. I had a lot of fun on them. Sure. And but this old trike I got now that Kendall Johnson built with it power it's got, you can have a lot of fun with the little extra ump.
I believe it. Old Kendall will make him go fast, won't he?
And I still got it. Of course, I don't have the nerve to run it now, but...
Yeah. You're still riding though, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we rode to Sturgis last year, 2021.
Right.
And on out to Montana. We didn't go no further than Montana, but...
Yeah.
We met a bunch out there at Bridger, out next... we go to that little beer joint,
which one?
Dry Creek there in Bridger. It's just a small place, but they treat us like kings and have a good time there.
Sometimes those small places are the only places to be.
Well, it's just right the other side of Beartooth, and that's one of the prettiest places in the world.
Yeah. All right. Well, since we're heading that way, let's talk about your favorite rides or rallies to go to. And like we talked about earlier, I know that you've made it to several Sturgis rallies. Now, is that your favorite one to go on, or is there multiple rides and rallies that you kind of religiously go to?
Well, Sturgis, I guess, is the favorite on account of the stuff there to see. Mm-hmm. Of course, I done saw it so many times it gets. But you got the Badlands before you get there, and Wall Drug, and then the Needles Highway, and Rushmore, and Crazy Horse, and then Devil's Tower just right out the road, and Bear Butte Mountain there, and it's just so much to see, but, and then Beartooth is right there too, so.
So Main Street's just a small percentage of Sturgis, and the riding is where it's at.
Yeah, I usually go to downtown and ride through, and as far as hanging out on the Main Street, no, let it go.
Yeah. Now but you ride all the way out to Sturgis.
Yeah, I've rode every time so far.
Yeah. Any other favorite rallies? You go to anything else that is noteworthy in your mind?
Well, like I said, Sturgis is favored. Laconia, I've been there a couple times. Well, 4 or 5 times, but it's not, it's a different rally. If you're not at Weir's Beach, well, you can ride over Mount Washington, but yeah. Other than Weir's Beach, Laconia is about doomed.
What about Daytona? I know we hit.
Well, I've been to Daytona. Well, hell, I guess more times than Sturgis, but it's just bar hopping more or less, cabbage patch and up fence bar and down pub 44, and then somebody say, "Oh, you ever been to that little bar?" And ride down there and more or less bar hopping at Daytona.
Right.
Compared to Sturgis.
All right, so we were just talking about rallies or having anything. Does anything stand out to you? Like any story from any one of these rallies that just pops up and goes, "Man, that was a hell of a good time." Anything like that for me? Any Sturgis adventure?
Well, I mean, like Beartooth, I met a friend, a guy that lived in Cody, Wyoming, and we went to his house several times. I'd always go look him up every time. And then we were getting ready to go on into Yellowstone, and Butch said, Joe said, "You and the guys ever go to Beartooth?" This was, I don't know, in the 80s. I said, "Hell, I ain't never heard of it." And we went up there and went to it, and I thought, wow, this is something else. And now you go to Beartooth and, well, all the magazines is, but back then you never even heard of it, really.
Yeah, just a beautiful place.
Oh, it's, yeah. But it just, all of a sudden it was in the little magazines, and the Harley Owners group put a big article in there. I thought, well, I've been there 15 times now. But now it's, oh, if you go to Yellowstone, go to Beartooth. Well, yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm. It's, so now it's popular and everybody's going.
Well, yeah, it's just, once it got built up, it's, well, like Devil's Tower. First time I seen Devil's Tower, me and Lester Kaiser, we was camped out at Sturgis, and he said, "Let's ride up to, well, that little town up at Montana, Wyoming." Said, "I bet it's like Love Valley, a little western town." And hell, we got up there and it wasn't nothing. Got out the end of the street, and he said, "Where we going?" I said, "I guess back down to the campground." I said, "Hell, it says Devil's Tower there, First National Monument." So hell, we rode up there, and hell, it wasn't nothing, just a little tractor path, and we were the only people there. And pulled off over in the weeds and watched the groundhog or prairie dogs. And then that movie come out, then Count the Third Kind. And now you go up there and you sit in line for 20 minutes to get in. And they paved the road and built this, that, and the other and everything.
Yeah.
So it changed over the years.
Speaking of paved roads, when we were outside, we were talking about roads around here in Winston-Salem. And you were telling me about that flathead. Tell me that story again. You were talking about trying to see how fast your buddy's flathead could go.
Well, that was an old guy that he had a 30, I think it was, 80 flathead, and I thought, hell, my old knucklehead and shovelhead and panhead all about 100 miles an hour, and they were just 74 cubic inches. So I asked Mr. Cook, I said, "How fast would that 80 cubic inch run?" And he didn't know. And I said, he said, told me he'd had it 5 or 6 years. I said, "Well, hell, about how fast would it run? I was thinking about just go out there and run it down the hill on 52 or out on 40 or something." And he said, "Well, you go down here at 5 Points and go down toward the High Point Road. That was the best sand and clay road, wasn't many wagon tracks in it. You could run it fast, you could hold in the road." So I still didn't know how fast it run. Yeah. But I wasn't counting on no sand and clay road with wagon tracks.
All right, let's get back to rides and rallies here. I want to know what attracts you to a rally or a ride. Like if say an event pops up and it's a considerable distance away, what does this event need to make it where you would be interested in going to it?
Well, usually I look to see if there's something else there to see. Well, like Laconia, hell, they said Mount Washington nowhere was sort of a major attraction. And then the Old Man in the Mountain, I thought, well, get tired of hanging out on the Weird Beach, you can ride over Mount Washington, the Old Man in the Mountain, and see what else is there to see while you're up that way.
So it's not just about the live music lineup or girls in bikinis. You're looking for somewhere to go.
Well, yes, something in between it to see too, if you can.
Yeah, but the girls in bikinis aren't so bad either, are they?
The what?
The girls in bikinis.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's not so bad either. Now, this past weekend, there was at least 2 birthday parties for you. You recently turned 81 years old. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
And I tell you, I was thinking about it on the way over here, man. I hope when I grow up that I can be, you know, as well off as Joe Smith is when I'm 81. Because, man, you had 2 big shindigs, one here at Willie's, one at Pine Tree, for your birthday, and the whole time I was there, you were signing autographs. What is that like for you?
Well, like I told you a while ago, it's work.
Yeah, but all these people have come out, and they're coming out to celebrate you. And hell, I've never signed a thing in my life, and there's no reason for me to sign anything. But man, like I said, I stood there. You were signing chests and signing shirts and all kinds of stuff, man.
Well, you can write, right?
No, I can.
Okay. Well, that's the first thing you got to do.
Yeah, that's where it starts. So, but it seemed like a big deal, and
no, it was, and I appreciate it up here. And like I said, Art and his wife Laura and Brooke and Cassie over at Pine Tree. I don't know all. That was a lot. Had Laura, she got in there and that tent and them pictures she put up and that cake. I don't know, just great.
Well, I know when I was standing around talking to people, there was people from Virginia, there was people from Tennessee, there was people come up from the South. I mean, it wasn't like your local crowd. People came to see you, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice.
So, what about plans for 2022? Anything coming up that you're not going to miss this year?
Same old run, I reckon. Get to Sturgis. Well, the Outer Banks, I love it down there, but it's just, if you don't go to Harley shop, jump.
So we got Sturgis and the possibility of the Outer Banks. Anything else on your 2022 agenda?
Well, I'd like to. I've been looking at Utah. Has got a lot of stuff that I hadn't saw, and I'd like to still see some of it.
Speaking of which, now out of the United States, is there a region or any states that you haven't been to, or is it like a normal path that you take, or have you tried to hit them all?
I done been to all of them. Just landlocked.
Yeah, the 50 or 48 contiguous states then.
I ain't been to Hawaii other than that.
Sure, it's hard to ride over there.
Yeah. But I've been to Alaska and, well, I can't go back, I don't guess. They won't let me in Canada. So.
Well, I don't know if we need to get into that. You know?
Well, yeah, I went and got a passport and but that didn't work neither. So.
Yeah, they don't like you in Canada then, huh?
I don't guess.
Well, we don't need them anyway. All right, well then that's about it that I've got for you today. But like I said, the name of the segment is it the destination of the ride? So personally, for you, is it the destination or is it the ride?
Well, it's the destination, but like I say, if you can get 3 or 4 destinations in the one ride. In other words, like Sturgis, you can see the arch there, but That's about all you're going to see between here and South Dakota.
Right.
But anyway, you do get to see the arch in St. Louis and the Badlands and Wall Drug and this, that, and the other before you get to Sturgis.
So for you, it's both, really. It's the destination and it's the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just, it's a combination, I would call it.
Yeah. All right, Joe. Well, man, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming out here and meeting me at Willie's Honky Tonk here in Winston-Salem. And I hope to see you out there on the road here in 2022.
All right.